I got this grey dark base Cuba, which I think it's a bargain. I'm gonna pick couple of stones out of it, and we're gonna cut it right here, and to see what we get out of it. That's only $200 worth of opal. Might be the best I've bought so far in the history of my opal life. And also, watch till the end. I'll show you this massive monster. Also, that I got for a good price. Now, can you guess how big it is? All I can tell you, it's a monster, and I'll show you at the end. Okay, so let's have a look. This is really what I think. I was very surprised getting it. Basically, $150 an ounce. It cost me, and yes, there is some. Every stone's got a color. There's probably some one cut, but it's got bars that are quite bright. Like, look at this one. You know, you can go and cut it in half if you gain. You've got a good saw and make two sides here. That's got a bit of sand coming in there, but look, but most important, look at this. I mean, this is grey Cuba, which is very hard to get. And yes, it doesn't go maybe all the way there, but it's got some green here, some red there, and it's got that. And even if it faces like this, but we're gonna have a look. So I'll just pick a couple of bigger stones here, and they big pieces, and see if we can make something out of it. I'm just showing you what's there. There you go. Look how bright some of this bars are. I mean, you've got to shop around for opal. I keep saying that. And I have different grades of this on my website too, so you can get your hands on it. And because I picked it up cheap, obviously not everything is $150 an ounce. Well, nothing is, because at the end, I need to run a business. But there are this, I'm gonna see if I cut some of it, and there are some better stones or on the website in different parcels. But auction wise, a rock like this is and maybe we have a look at cutting this one, and that's big. I tell you what, that's 30 carats. I mean, imagine going on auction. The cost of this one, to me, it's about $50. Well, actually less. But and of course it's relative. I want to talk about the relativity of this, because if $150 an ounce, but there be stones that won't cut, maybe like this one. And there was like a matrixy one, which could be interesting, but also, so there are, like when you're saying you can't just pay carrot, work on, everything is the same, because it's not, nice blue green there. But, this is inlay, really thin. So, but let's say overall, something like this cost me, between 50, 80 Australian dollars. So I think that's pretty good value. I mean, we're gonna find out. All right, let me pick those stones, and we'll go on the machine and cut a couple and see if we can have some decent profit just from the 2 stones or 3 stones that I pick. All right, there you go. All right, so now we're on the machine, and this is the big rock. I've decided, let's cut this one. Look at that bar, the gold, reds, greens, and 30 carats. It's got good thickness, about, well, on top there, 10 mil. It's got some color coming through there, but you can see it's got challenges. It's a bit, a little bit of grazing there, maybe a crack or two. Hopefully not on the color bar. It was dry, now wet. And this is interesting, you can actually see more of the grazing in the wet. Usually, the reason I look at the dry opal is to see the cracks and any imperfections, they show up better. This was something different. Now, this opal is a little bit darker in my hand compared to the video. So that grey base Cuba, see, it's got it potentially is all cracked. That's the danger for me. I'm gonna bring it in that side because yeah, I just wanna touch that calabar there, and it's also that grey potch. There is a crystal in there, so it's a little bit transparent with that grey milkiness on top. And I'm also a little bit concerned about the bottom of the stone. It's got that almost matrix-like concrete backing. To me, there are two things there. First, see how cracks there are on top. Mind you, we are way away from the calabar because it's very thick stone. So hopefully those cracks will disappear on us. But yeah, that matrixy porch, just for those who are learning, it can present challenges. One of the challenges that, from my experience, it presents to me is cracking. Secondly, sometimes the color goes into, like, it can be sandy, and if there is a little bit of crystal, then you get the crystal bar. If you've got that matrix down the bottom, it can be transparent. So if the bar is not thick enough, the color shows the sandy bottom or the milky white bottom. And so I cut out a little bit of the grinding. This is a 600 wheel, which, as many of you know, it's my favorite. See, I can still see a little bit of cracks in there, but the color coming through is looking pretty good. And I went to 180 just to speed up taking the top off it, because it was quite thick, and on the 600 would have taken too long, and there was no danger of stuffing anything up. So now I'm back on 600 on my best mate wheel, because it allows me to be slower, not make mistakes easily. Doesn't all of a sudden take, you know, it doesn't rub off the color that like 180 would if it's very thin. But as you can see, you know, the good news is, I don't know if you can see this on the video, but these cracks in the grey potch, they are disappearing. So we do have possibly, you know, like, I know many of you would probably think this is a big opal, right? It's, you know, 25 by 20 mils dimension, and it was like about 15 mils thick. So many of you would think, oh, that will make few opals. And yes, I go with the opal. I learn from the opal. I see what the opal shows me. It's like God's nature, you know, creation shows me. And rather than putting my mind to it, I go with the flow. And I would always prefer a big stone. So it doesn't matter if it's freeform, if it's got brilliant color, that pendant of that size. To get a clean opal, what are the chances you getting a clean opal this size, for example? You know, somewhere for decent money, because this will be decent money, because as you know, and when I say decent money, I mean affordable money for those who can't just obviously splashed out, you know, $1,000 or $500 carat for a 10 to 20 carat opal. So, you know, a lot of times they cut into smaller stones, make it affordable, and a lot of times also the nature tells us that, you know, you have to, because there's imperfections, cracks, sand, and all sorts of things. And a lot of us like uniform shapes, which is fine, and jewelry especially. Much easier to set an oval or cushion cut in, you know, perfect size than it is freeform. But I find doing something with a freeform is very artistic, so, and it's unique, and I like them, especially when they're that big. So I would always prefer to cut and keep the opal as big as possible, because it's just rarer. And also, when you're wearing it, it just shows, doesn't it? Like, it's in your face. And isn't that what Opal is all about? It's about the color and showing the color. Ooh, there is blues and oranges and reds and greens, so you've got full rainbow. It's a little bit directional, but it's coming through. And one side of that is much thinner bar than the other. So I'm gonna work towards trying to even it all out without losing color. And then I can see that sandy matrix like potch down the bottom, it is showing through because that gray potch is semi-crystal, so it's showing through. So I might get rid of the bottom as well, but patiently just going in there. Ooh, look, more red coming. See that side there? It's got thicker color. And the middle of it is more potchy than the sides. So you could cut it up, but there is a fair bit, we're looking at Opal that's, okay, let's say, I got a bargain of the century, $150 an ounce. Let's say if you went to online auctions, or my store or somewhere to buy this kind of Opal, you might be paying, I would say, minimum 500 an ounce, probably 800 to 1,000. And I say that by attending a lot of auctions and seeing one rock, they're saying 10 carats, people are paying, $200. Okay, that's $20 a carat, 150, 140 in an ounce or 150 in a troy ounce. We're talking $3,000 an ounce. So I don't know if people are doing these calculations. I'm a bit of an old school with the ounces because I was taught by old school miners and dealers, and that's how they work. And that's how I started working a couple of decades ago or more with it, and it stuck with me. So I'm still going to that. I'm all up for the carrots and everything. I'm in Opal industry. I think it's very hard. Wow. Very hard business to make money from. I always say it's more of a passion, and look, the more the others get for Opal, the better for the industry, because there are a lot of people working very hard making no money. So, all right, look at that, and see, there is a bit of that grey milkiness, but it's kind of in different places. So if you start cutting out, you just end up with smaller stones still with that grey milkiness. So I think it's more unique to try to keep its whole. And that's what I endeavor to do. We start with 30 carats. You usually lose, 80% of these big stones. So that's 24. If we end up with 6 carats, I'd be happy. 6 carat, 7 carat Opal. Yeah. Color is good. Alright, I just went on the 180 again. And just to clean up the back. See there? It's still got that milky matrix, and there is a crack there. See? Typical the matrix potch, but it's not cracking, luckily, to the grey potch. I still need to clean that up. Still got good thickness. You can see that milkiness going in there. Hence, the honest miners will put this in a cheaper parcel, because there is a risk with that kind of potch. That's it's more of a risk compared with other potch, and I've learned that through experience. So very valuable to look at it. But look at that, and that pattern on the side there with that orange and those flags. Oh, look at that. I like it. This floral pattern there as well. Straw, a little bit of straw
It's a great opal. I'm very happy with it, especially for the money. So it's relevant. All right, that's the second piece, and this piece is, well, kind of similar, but it's got more challenge. It's much smaller, just over 10 carats, and it is got sand. It's got cracks. That's the easy part. The side I can take off because there's nothing there until I get the calabar there. And looking at the calabars, I'm just noticed. I don't know if you noticed when I showed you before, but there is this red sort of pinfire, and there is this thick green blue bar. And so I've got a secret plan of my phone is beeping. That's typical. I forgot to put it on silent. But so you've got this bar, see that? Beautiful reds in there, and then you've got that thick crystal green and blue. And at some point they meet, and then you've got the top there with a bit of a color, but that top has to go because it's all sand. So that's an easy one for me to go and just clean up. And my secret plan is to see if I can ideally get those reds, a part of those reds, and then that green blue shine through them, so you get the whole color spectrum. So get rid of the sand and the top and see if we can look. It's gonna be a small opal because I can see how the bars are working and the cracks and the indentation. So I'll go and speed up the process, and then we can have a look what we actually got. So let's speed it up with some music. Okay, so you can see the challenge here. Firstly, I've got some flaking. Then you've got sand that's going quite deep. You can tell there's got a bit of an indentation there underneath as well, making the opal less stable. But that pink red and the green bar. Now there is a stone there. It's going to be small, so I think we're gonna lose a lot of weight here. So I'll speed this up and see if I can clean up that sand. I don't think it will, so it's gonna most likely end up being a small stone, but let's just speed it up and see what happens. Alright, after trying my best to keep it as big as possible, this is what I ended up with. So it just needs cleaning up, obviously, dopstick, polishing wheels. At the moment it's rough, and that indentation I've got to bring it in, make it thinner. So we're probably just gonna end up with a carat, but look, it's not as good as the sidebar look like again, but it is bright enough. It's got interesting pattern in there. Greens, blues, that red is matching. There is the green underneath, so result is pretty good. All right, something different. Some of you mentioned to show you opals in natural light. So this is outside just in the sun. And this is 1.4 carat, and that's what we ended up with. And I was trying to get the green and the red, so I kept the red. You could go into that bar there. That is probably brighter. See, I'm out of my Opal environment, so I'm not sure how that's gonna look like, but this is sunlight outside, and this rubs. That's what we got. So 1.4 carat, not a bad result, though, considering the price of this rough. And this one is like 20 by 15, massive, massive Opal, and is 10.8 carat free form, a little bit still creamy on top, but it's got reds, greens, blues in different direction. And look at that beautiful pattern there on some of it. So I think the results are great, and I've done really well for the parcel. Do you reckon might be the best part deal that I've got? There's been few of them, but this is very, very good. That's massive. I'm gonna leave it free form. You could make a couple of ovals, but because the creaminess there, I think if you cut it into smaller pieces, you might end up with smaller pieces with a bit of a cloud, whereas this size Opal, it's just rare. And imagine a pendant like that. It's big. So I'm gonna keep it big. I would keep it big. Finish it off as a free form, and that is great, beautiful. Let me just wet it. That was dry actually. Yeah, here in the sunlight, it doesn't make much difference to put water on it. It's obviously unfinished and unpolished. So, all right, okay. So those two, and then I'm gonna show you this monster. Did anybody guess how big this is? And this is so it's also gray based Cuba, but look at that bar. And I love my big rocks, and mostly I keep them, but I'm gonna let this one go because I want some funds for something. And because, well, $150 an ounce wasn't as cheap as that, but I still got a bargain on this. And you've got very, very hard to get this. That's like 20 mil thick, 40 by 45, and it's gonna be on my website for you guys to get. And I think it's gonna be it's pretty reasonable price. I'll put a link in the description. If this video comes out, it might not be there anymore, because I think where you're gonna get a rock like this, and I'm just showing it to you in the sunlight. Orange, greens, look at that, and it goes all the way there, all the way there. It's coming here, and it's still shining there under the skin. And then you've got this other one on top, which is blue crystally green. So you've got a couple of possibilities, and it's massive. All right, what do you think? Well, I tell you, 130 carats. It's almost an ounce Opal. Very, very hard to get these big rocks. They get cut up into small pieces and sold at auctions for $200, $300, $400 each, for 10 carats. This is 130. So have a look. It's awesome. And I just want to let you know. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm in my Warrior of Light t-shirt. And it's Christmas coming, so if you need a prezi, check out Jess's site, link in the description. Maybe you want to get some different colors, whatever. I love this. Just the message of it, of the positivity and the humanness together. I am wanting to use this time to tell you that I'm gonna be away for a few weeks. So they may not be, I'm not gonna be around my Opal machine. I'm going up north from where I am. And so if you are around the northern New South Wales and southern Queensland region, I'm going to a new venture. I'm going to be placed, which is one of my favorite places in Australia, if not the whole world. It's Currumbin Valley, which is on the Gold Coast. part of the Gold Coast, very close to New South Wales border. And I'm gonna be playing around with my new venture, which is a place called Currumbin Valley Harvest. And you can have a look online. And if you're in that part of the world, if you email me, maybe you can run into me there. I'm gonna be integrating a new venture, as I mentioned. It's a beautiful spot on Currumbin Creek with a lot of awesome food, organic biodynamic food. There is a produce shop, lots of things. Bring the kids. It's got acres of beautiful land, stunning valley, stunning place. Lunch, breakfast, ice cream. Very high quality food. There's some events. Jess gonna be hanging around there as well for a little bit. She's gonna run an event there. There is also a sound event on the 21st, I believe, December. So check it out. And if you want to run into me, if you're that part of the world, let me know. And maybe I'll say hello. But the next content is going to take a little bit of time since I'm not going to be cutting Opal because I'm not going to have my machine there or anything. So I might do a post and maybe something else just to wish you happy New Year and Merry Christmas and all that. But yeah, and yeah, look at this rock. That's the big Opal, 130 carats. So I'm not sure if it's still online, but by the time you're watching this video, because it might be gone, but I'm parting with this big, beautiful rock. And thank you for watching. Check out the memberships. If you're buying Opal, especially that, you get 10 or 15% off all the Opal on my store. So check that out and you get footage, extra footage and everything. I appreciate all the likes, comments. Keep doing it. And all the new members, welcome. And yeah, we'll keep going. And I'll see you on the next one.